Hello viewers and welcome back to McElroy's Motors, home of the weird, the boring, the projects, and the adventures. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. As you guys can tell, I am at work and I will be here until 8:30 tomorrow morning. But on the way here, my rear view mirror of my Eagle Premier had fallen off. I'm thinking the adhesive is as old as the car itself, so I got it mounted back in place. And hopefully I do not get all the adhesive on my fingers just like I did when I tried mounting some 3D decals onto my Saturn during the road trip back in November.
Thumbs up there, Anthony.
McElroy Motors here. I've just covered my entire body in JB Weld. We're gonna let it soak. My name's Miss. Yo!
While I'm fixing that today as well, I'm going to be working on sanding the remainder of the paint. I have gotten as far as about 85 to 95% of the original paint off the car, and I'm going to get the car ready to be primed and repainted before the end of the summer. So it is now time to cue the music. Starts up every time. Not bad for a car known for electrical gremlins. One thing I like about this car is just how quirky it is. Bear in mind, I don't have my seatbelt fastened, and yet the chime is not working. But if I let it go down a little bit, safety third. But right now I am dustier than old Mother Hubbard's cupboard, or possibly dustier than my grandmother's attic. No sense of complaining, but I just know when I get home, showering will be abundant. And as you guys can see, I finally removed the headliner as well because it had thumbtacks. Endless thumbtacks. It is so bizarre driving my car without its rearview mirror attached to the windshield. As you guys can see, I have it right here. Looks like having fuzzy dice was not a sign for good luck in this case. But that's what I get for daily driving something nearly 40 years old. Whew. At least I'm off work for 2 days, so I have plenty of time to get this done. I covered roughly 7,500 miles in this car since I bought it a couple months ago, and it's been perfectly reliable despite that rear mirror falling off. The only thing I had to do to it since then was change the oil filter, and that's pretty much it. Since I got the car, I've been running it on 89 octane gasoline, as well as running it on Mobil 1 5W30 European car blend oil, which definitely transformed this car. It wasn't running bad before I did all that, but it definitely made the car run a lot smoother as a result from all of this. This Eagle also might need a thermostat. I'm not saying it's overheating or anything like that, which these cars are known for, but I think the thermostat might be showing its age. It might be the original one from 36 years ago. Because I have to plug in the fan manually before I start the car because the fuse had melted, I have to keep my eye on the temp gauge, and normally it runs about a third of the way up. But now I've noticed it does creep up past halfway. It might be just low in coolant for all that we know. But either way, I'll check it when we get there. And while I'm at the auto parts store, I'll definitely order a thermostat, assuming already they have one, which, knock on some wood, let's just hope they do. What does help this car run really cool though, is when I do put coolant in it, I don't run it on the usual Prestone or typical off-the-shelf coolant. I actually run this thing on racing coolant, and that makes a huge difference. So, if I don't need a thermostat, I'll just get some of that racing coolant, and that should solve my problem. Time now to see what this thing sounds like in a tunnel. Are you guys ready? PRV engines, they may be unreliable, but by golly, they sound good. Time now to get in the zone, auto zone. Hopefully they're open. Doesn't look they're open yet, but we shall see. Ooh, bit of a pothole there. Oh yeah, they're open. Time to go in. Normally I would think they had some kind of adhesive to basically stick the rearview mirror back onto the windshield, but I don't see that here. So, you know what, the heck with that, I'll just buy myself a new rearview mirror. Question is, does this stick on somehow? I don't see anything that could possibly help with sticking it in place. I have never been to an auto parts store that sells aftermarket rearview mirrors, mirror replacement glass, and all that stuff, but no rearview mirror adhesive. So instead of spending 20 to 30 bucks on a rearview mirror, plus one that comes with a backup camera, I'm just going to use my nemesis, JB Weld. And let's just hope that I don't get it all over my fingers, because I know my friend Anthony, who went with me on my November trip, will laugh his head off because it will happen a second time.
Yo!
So, how do I? Come on, there we go. Oh, okay, it's okay. Apparently, this is good for plastic, wood, ceramics, glass, rubber, metal, leather, and cloth. So let's just hope this goes smoothly. And it can also hold up to 3,000 psi, which is crazy. But time will tell if it can actually hold this piece, which is hard to find replacements for. So I did order my thermostat. It should be here in about a week. Moment of truth. Gotta hold it for 30 seconds. Talk amongst yourselves. But man, it's getting hot out here already. I can only imagine what it will be like when I get home and start sanding. I don't see anything on this in terms of being waterproof, so let's just hope it is. Because if it isn't, I won't be happy because I just spent $10 on this. I mean, sure, that's cheap. But I definitely won't be getting my money's worth. And that's on there. So adjust it accordingly. And voila! I just got JB Weld all over my crotch.
He mickled his Roy, dude.
But that is okay because these are work pants. Therefore, I don't give a toss about these. Although it's going to look pretty weird once it dries, I am imagining.
Gentlemen, calm down.
Yep, I got the sticky stuff on my crotch. No accidents required. Now on to the next thing. Of course, there's nothing wrong with washing the sticky stuff off your hands in a public restroom. Nothing wrong with that, especially with the door wide open. There's the tried and true 3-liter PRV V6 engine. As you can see, hasn't changed much. I don't plan to modify this engine in any way, so no turbos, no supercharging, none of that nonsense. But yep, she's got brand new spark plugs in there. I give kudos to the guy who helped me fix it because this thing coughed out on the side of the road, and some guy helped me push it into the parking lot, and there was a car meet starting right where it gave me the issue. So thank God that guy had some extra spark plugs, and we just changed them out and got back on the road within the next 20 minutes. Never ever ever want to open up a cooling expansion tank when the engine's hot. If you do it very, very slowly. That explains why I was running hot, because this cap was on loose. But yeah, I'm gonna add this stuff in. As I like to call it, the magic juice. This stuff costs about 20 bucks a bottle. But my golly, is it worth it. I feel like a mad scientist right now.
Oh, it's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
And that's it. And I JB welded myself to my car. Isn't that great? Nothing to see, everything's fine. Make sure that's on tight. And we are good to go. As I was getting ready to leave, this pulled up. Absolutely magnificent. Now on the Motor Week road test for 1988, when this car first came out, they mentioned that the pedals are a little too close for safety. I've owned 4 of these cars and never really noticed the issue. But now that I'm wearing steel toe boots, I definitely notice it. Hey, look at that, a Saturn! Talk about a trip down memory lane. But the car's running nice and cool now. The magic juice is doing the trick. Time now to get home, charge my phone, and then start on the sanding job. Should be a lot of fun. Not! And this smart guy is going the wrong way. Showing up at a random person's house is never a problem. I promise you it isn't. Alright, back on the road. I may have been born in Georgia, but I lived in Ohio all of my life. And I am pretty familiar with this area. But little did I know, there's a street back there called Forget-Me-Not. I wonder who named that street. I am going to a Mopar themed car meet on Saturday, July 18th at Falls Motor City in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. Falls Motor City is the largest Chrysler dealership in the area. They sell Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, even Fiat. Ew, Tesla. But yeah, I am hoping I get some looks at this because it's definitely not often you see one of these on the road. I can definitely see what the advertisements for this car meant when this car first came out in 1988. Properly named because Premier is a first, an American-built car with European sophistication and handling. I can definitely see that with driving this thing on a twisty back road. This thing handles wonderfully.
With me excited about removing the rest of the paint, I was reassured it would not rain. However,
quite awesome to see an Audi S4 and a Focus RS parked right next to each other. And it's raining again? God give me strength. Hopefully it doesn't last forever. Well, I had a bit of a problem here. I was on my way to Walmart to buy some more 80 grit sandpaper to finish sanding sometime tomorrow because the weather wouldn't hold. And as you can see, I got the wires exposed on my tire here. So I'm going to change this tire and get back on the road. Drive an old car, they said. It would be fun, they said. I am guessing this tool has never been used in this car's 36 years of existence, because it looks like it's never been used before. The police would not help in this case, and of course, me being autistic, I end up forgetting my wallet. So I asked police if they could just help me get the car onto the jack and then if I could just start working away. And they say, call around for quotes. This is what I'm paying my taxes to. Police, protect and serve my ass. Figures, the cops do not help, but these guys did. Your name, we got Chris here. Your name?
Gavin.
Gavin, yours? Kennedy. Nice to meet you guys both. I thank you guys so much for your help. Keeping this old rare beast on the road. Soon she'll be repainted. I'm going to repaint it silver and whatnot to make it look like my first car did. Possibly get some chrome 5-spoke wheels for it. Probably put a satellite navigation into it just to keep up with modern times. But again, guys, thank you.
No problem, man. No problem. You be safe.
Yes.
Ish.
Yes.
Ish. I have no airbags in there.
Hell yeah.
Well, I'm here at the local gas station. I'm here to get something to drink, cool myself off for a little bit. But if those guys are watching this video, again, I give them my utmost thanks from the bottom of my heart. Just shows that kindness goes a long way. But yep, after I visit this gas station, I'm going to go get some sandpaper and then go visit visit Alicia in hospital because I found out she has a food-borne illness, which is no fun for anybody. I'm hoping for a speedy recovery. No pun intended. I spy with my little eyes a Bentley. Look at that magnificent thing. I did see a Ferrari 812 earlier today as well. Pretty sweet. Now, when I first bought this car back a few months ago, I used to think that this car could benefit from an alignment. But now that I have the spare tire on the left front wheel, I can honestly say that I think the tire was the culprit all along because I used to air it up quite repeatedly. But now that I'm on the spare wheel, this thing handles much better. In fact, it's a lot smoother, it's a lot more comfortable, absorbs bumps a lot better. So I think all in all, I'm going to get some new front tires on Friday, and I think that should make the car transform a lot better. This thing just handles so much more directly. It's amazing.
But by golly, this tire looks so puny.
When I looked at the original tire, I thought it said 39th week of 2019. So I was thinking maybe it was about a 6-year-old tire. But boy, was I wrong. I looked at it more carefully and it said 19th week of 1993. How on earth does this car make it back from Pennsylvania on tires older than the film Jurassic Park is beyond a miracle. But despite running on a donut, this thing is fine. Everything is fine. Truly, everything's fine. Oh, God. Right, it is now day 3 of this project, and it is now 4:15 in the afternoon. I did not want to have a late start, but I'm a night owl, and it's been so hot these past couple of weeks to the point where I figured starting late is better than not starting at all. So we're going to head to Walmart, pick up the sandpaper once and for all, and then hopefully finish this job because I have 5 hours to kill before I have to start getting ready for work tonight. But the Eagle is doing well, despite running on a donut. Everything seems fine with the car. Hasn't been without its faults, but hey, we're going to restore this thing in my grandmother's honor in the first place. So let's get to Walmart and buy some sandpaper. I want you to keep one thing in mind, though, viewers. This is my first time ever sanding a car. Despite me knowing what I'm doing, I'm still a very much beginner at this. So as such, there is some exposed metal here, exposed metal on the roof. But despite all that, I do plan on priming this thing as well as rust-proofing it. So this thing is going to look like a diamond once all said and done. This is what I call the ugly phase. So anyway, let's waste no more time. God, I feel 17 every time I sit in this thing. It's crazy to think that was 10 years ago when I passed my driver's test in one of these. And the day I passed my driver's test was also my grandfather's birthday. Well, after 4 attempts, it started. Thank God I don't have a carburetor to worry about, but still, definitely a close call. I thought maybe a fuel injector or perhaps even the fuel pump had got bad. I think I was able to hear the fuel pump when I turned on the ignition. So hopefully this thing doesn't give me more trouble than that. But I'm gonna let this thing run for about 5 minutes before we take off, just to make sure it doesn't stall. I'm thinking the car was just very cold because I'm not getting any warning lights on the dashboard saying that the battery's discharging or anything like that. So I think we're all okay. But I guess time will tell. But as for the fuel pump, I don't think the fuel pump is on its way out because the car has not once stalled since I took off. And I think everything seems fine. The car drives fine, doesn't show any signs of things going bad. But what can I say? Old car quirks. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on the fuel pump though. And just hope it doesn't go out. Because I was able to hear the faint whine before I even started the car, so I know the fuel pump's in good health. Maybe just the car was just cold and being grumpy like it usually can be sometimes. But either way, we are out of Akron now. Let's get to this Walmart.
This newish Kia seems to be leaking fluids already. Don't you start with me. This vehicle here says PRV on the window. Is it an Eagle Premier? Nope, it's a boring Toyota Camry.
Right, I got the sandpaper, got a Mountain Dew. Will this thing start? Let's find out. First try. Yes! Right, it is now time to start sanding this car once again, and let me tell you, removing all this original blue paint originally was a bit like making love to a Smurf with gonorrhea. Sure, nobody's going to really care, but at the same time it turned me and my balls completely blue, so I guess it was not a win-win situation in that regard. But anyway, it is now time to get dirty, dusty, and completely coated in acrylic. I think the least fun bit about sanding this whole car is where I get to where the paint was originally faded, because I have to sand it, then tap off this remainder of the blue paint onto like a piece of wood or perhaps concrete, and then continue sanding, tap it off, continue sanding, tap it off, continue sanding. It is no fun. Now I'm sure I'm gonna get a comment or so saying, why don't you get one of those power wheels, like one of those tools that can help you automatically or electronically sand the car? And that is a good point. I'm sanding this car by hand. Now if this was, let's say, a Toyota or a Honda of the era, I would have sanded it electronically using a sanding wheel. But because this car is so rare, being one of 14,000 ever built for 1990, I just don't want to risk sanding through the bare metal. It's already bad enough that I have the exposed metal in some areas of this car that I do plan on repainting, priming, as well as rust proofing. I am not even a third of the way done with sanding the hood, and I do not know what is worse, playing with Donald J. Trump's privates or the state of my hands. Doesn't look that bad on camera, but let's just say my hands should not be this color. I am perhaps a little blue in the face. Well, viewers, the hood is now up to my satisfactory needs, and I understand there are still some spots that I have to take care of, but I'll take care of that another day. When you see this car again, it will no longer be on its spare wheel because I'm going to Walmart to get some new tires for it on Friday. I'm going to make the appointment tomorrow after I get off work. And sure enough, I think this car will be ready for its repaint hopefully very soon. But the next time you see this car, we'll be taking this thing to the car meet up in Cuyahoga Falls that I mentioned earlier in this video, and it will be looking its absolute best probably in the next year or so. So in the next video, you'll see me taking care of the siding of the car because, as you can see, it's still 50 shades of gray in some areas, but overall the restoration is coming together one step at a time. And with all that out of the way, I would like to say a massive thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, feel free to click that thumbs up icon as it will help me out drastically. Feel free to subscribe for more content because we are closing on 1,000 subscribers, and the 1,000th subscriber will get a prize issued to me in the mail. And I also wanted to say, if you wanted to comment down below, feel free to, because it's not often you see Eagle Premier being restored, let alone one still being used as a daily driver even today. So either way, guys, I'll see you guys in an upcoming video. Take care.